Welcome, everybody, to Dan Excelsior, the mostly Marvel podcast. This is episode 158, and we are talking about season 8, season 1, episode 8, the finale of The Penguin. With me, as always, we got Dennis.
What's up?
And a special guest this week, Travis.
What's happening?
What's up, sir? We are so happy about this. I was just talking about this before the show. Somehow life has kept us away from each other for a while, for many weeks. Actually, you traveled, and then and then our other thing that we do on Mondays hasn't been happening for a while. So I realized when you got here, I have not talked to you about the Penguin for this entire season of the show, and
it's crazy.
Very excited to do that.
Yeah.
I do got to ask, and I'm just curious, because there's another show that we watched that we did not talk to you about. What did you think about Agatha All Along?
I thought it was charming.
Charming?
I thought it was extremely charming.
Is charming and good the same thing?
I think so. Yeah.
Do you remember how much I was shitting on that show?
I'm sorry?
Do you remember how much I was shitting on that show in the summer?
Yes.
I ate crow so fast. I will say I didn't love the first episode, but it was way better than I expected to be. And then by the third episode, I was like, well, I love the show. I didn't know. I
had a friend of mine, old coworker, who was actually in the show.
Ooh.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Someone we would know.
Scott Butler. He worked at Sony with us back in the day too.
Oh, you know what? I think Coker told me this story.
Yeah, he's an actor. Mm-hmm.
I was like, why does this sound so familiar?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
It's pretty cool.
But I mean, it was well acted. It was well executed. I thought just the storytelling was top notch. Was just top notch. It was well acted. I mean, it was just it felt like a quilt of a sort.
That's a good analogy. Yeah.
And there was so many genres that they meshed together, and somehow they organized it in a way that was both fitting and comforting, so it was just like I said, it was just well executed. So that's why I feel like it's comfy.
Was it better than Transformers 1?
I'm sorry?
Was it better than Transformers 1?
That's I reject your premise.
Yeah, I feel like that's not fair.
One's a movie, one's a series.
Yeah.
And that being said, Transformers 1, in my opinion, is the best Transformers movie ever made.
That is not only your opinion, sir. I have an entire shelf of very expensive Transformers above my head right there, and I promise you, I grew up worshiping the original movie. I went to see Transformers 1 for my birthday, actually. That in 40X. Kicked my ass.
Ooh,
my legs were just flailing all over the place because that movie was out of control. But also, separately from the ride, that movie was so damn good that I came home. No, you know what? The first thing that made me so happy. When that movie ended, when the credits were over, my wife, who I need you to understand, my wife, who has been with me faithfully since we started dating, the first thing we did was see Transformers 2 in theaters on the first day that we were officially dating. Okay. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. This is so bad. You don't know how many times I took her to see terrible Transformers movies after terrible Transformers movies. And then when Transformers 1 ended, which she only went to see with me because it was my birthday, right?
Of course.
When that movie ended, she leaned into me and said, I now understand why you love Transformers. That right there, Travis. I almost cried right there in the theater because that movie was so damn good.
That was it, right? That was it.
Yeah,
Let me-
It was it.
it was so good.
You know,
Let me
it
ask
was-
you this
it was-
though.
It was it.
Even if it totally messed with the lore, I don't even care because
I don't either.
they made it better. They
Yeah.
made
You
it better.
have a shelf full of G1 Transformers.
Mhm.
Is this movie good enough so where you will consider buying a Transformer toy of from this movie or
Nah.
from these looks?
No.
Is that
But that's no knock on it. It's just that like for
But what
me,
if it was? But what if it was Badassatron?
I just
a masterpiece
Okay, I
Transformer
said it wrong.
one?
Badassatron.
I don't know.
Badassatron.
It's don't get me wrong. It's nothing like the reason I like Transformers 1 is because it doesn't do anything to take away from the original experience. It's still you can still go watch G1 and it's technically a continuation of Transformers 1. You know what I mean?
So I have a. This is how I feel, and it's funny being my age now, and seeing this in people that are younger than I am. All these things that are lore, all these things that are sacrosanct to you, are things that you're of that generation to a degree.
Yeah, I'm of the crappy generation that Reagan lifted the ban on toys being commercialized and stuff like that. So,
So
yeah,
The original
I
brain
can't,
rot.
no, I guess
I can't
so
help
my,
it. Yeah,
so my point is like and you see this when people go, why are they making another Spider-Man movie? Why are they making another Batman movie? Why are they doing this? And I goes, those characters don't belong to you. Okay, those characters are
Yeah.
they belong to the ages, right? And we're at that point where I feel like Transformers is definitely in that realm where
Oh yeah,
like a big generation like gap here, and because of that, like if they want to rewrite that whole origin, I can get jiggy with it.
yeah. But here's the thing. I can separate my love of the toys from my love of the story, right? Because the
Yeah.
thing is, Ricky, Soundwave doesn't hit the same for you that it does for Travis and I.
At all.
Because you didn't have tape players.
Yep.
Like that just wasn't your thing.
Well, yeah, I totally get the mindset though. A sick ass toy is a sick ass toy.
Okay, yes, that's true, but like I am a curator. Okay, I'm a curator here and I'm curating my life experience. And my life experience is growing up with my Transformers that were die-cast metal and turned into vehicles that you could throw at another kid that you hated and you would dent his head.
So
and,
true.
and also tape players. All right. And that's it. That's Transformers for me.
That's so true.
Yeah.
They're weapons.
Yes. So
Yeah.
like that's my experience with it. But like Travis said, there can be a Transformers for a different age group, and like I actually like Beast Wars. I can't go back and watch it now because the animation is terrible.
Yeah.
But like it was good storytelling. And so
Yeah.
I appreciate it every time they take an IP like Transformers or G.I. Joe that completely started out of thin air as a freaking toy, and they can make it mean something more to us. You know what I mean? And so for your question is funny because the reverse is true for me. I only consume Transformers movies because the toys were so good. Does that make sense? So like,
Yeah, no, it does. I'm just curious, like, yeah, how good would basically a movie have to be for you to reverse on that vector of like,
yeah,
now
well,
I want a toy of it.
You caught me at a time where I'm trying to scale down. So I think that's I think that's why, do I think they look cool? And do I think they probably make cool toys? Hell yeah, for sure. I believe that. I just don't like the aesthetic of the Cybertronian vehicles as much as I do the Earth vehicles. Does that make sense? Like
Oh yeah.
I want Jazz to turn into a 911 Porsche. You know, like that's what I want. Like I don't
That's what
want
we
him
all
to turn
want.
into some weird thing. Yeah, that's all we want is Jazz to turn into the correct
Not a
car.
Pontiac
That's true.
Solstice.
Yes, exactly. So you know, I like my diesel truck Optimus Prime. It's just
Yeah.
the preference, because I feel like if they're robots in disguise, when they're in Cybertron, what the hell are they disguising as? Like they're still Cybertronians. That's the thing. That's like putting on a jacket on Cybertron. That's all you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just gonna put on some wheels to get to work really quick. You know, like it doesn't make no sense in Cybertron. So yeah.
You just reminded me of that scene where like Orion Pax like fronts like he's transforming. That was hilarious.
Yeah, but it don't make sense. Is it cool to see that that's just part of their biology? Yes, it's a cool thing. But like,
you know, we don't run everywhere, right? So if you want to run somewhere, you gotta turn into a car if you're a transformer.
Yeah, but the difference is they're aliens, so it's cooler. Okay, like there's so many reasons not to hate the Transformers. They're robots, they're aliens, they transform into tape recorders. You know what I mean? Like they're amazing. That's why they're actually my favorite toy on this planet. They just, you know, they're just really expensive is the problem.
Yeah.
That's why I only have a shelf of them. That's it. So your question was flawed from the start. I was never going to answer it the way you wanted it to.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you nerding out on lately, Ricky?
What have I been nerding out on?
Yeah.
Oh man. What have I been nerding? I've been actually watching The English Teacher on Hulu. The show's fun. Gay English teacher I think he's in Austin, Texas, and living through what that means living there.
Well, I mean, he could do worse than Austin, though.
Yeah, it's a fun show.
Exactly.
I just started beef with
not Austin.
Yeah, I just started beef with the entire state right now.
Every 30 minutes, it's their 30-minute episode, and they each have like a little conundrum in the school that he goes through, and it's fun. It's a very lighthearted, fun show, which is exactly what I want right now. I don't need extra stress, so I'm glad the Penguin's over.
Nice. By the way, thank you, Logan, for tuning in. We see you there. I have been nerding out I've been catching up on season 4 of Superman and Lois. Travis, have you ever watched that show?
I stopped watching after like the who was the guy who was hunting Superman and found
Steel.
Like Steel. Yeah. So
we were just talking about Steel.
Now it wasn't an indictment of the show, actually, because I think the show was pretty quality, actually. I like the fact that, you know, it was like, this is what happens in between him saving the planet all the time, right? And then giving him like problems that he couldn't put his fist in or his laser beam eyes into, you know, like, you know, and
raising children.
Oh my God. Right. And so
cancer.
Yeah, like it'll
so you stopped before Lois got cancer.
Oh, great.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You stopped before Lois. Yeah, that's the show though, is every season is how hard it is for him to be human, because that's very important to him to live the human experience.
I guess that's a spoiler. Was there cancer due to him?
So in any case,
no,
I will go back and watch them. I know this is supposed to be the last season, so you know, maybe I would let it wind out before or maybe I can pace it in such a way where, you know, I can catch up just as you know, the season ends. But yeah, I did enjoy that show. It took me a minute to like appreciate it, but when I did, I was like, okay, this decent show.
It is beyond decent to me. It is my favorite live action Superman. It is so good. But I will let you know, like, obviously it's CW, so it's decent
within that realm.
Within that realm, it's actually I think it's excellent within that realm. But I, you know, I think we're all understanding that. Like, we just we don't mean to talk bad about CW. You just make a certain quality of show that we're used to, and it's okay. Don't get me wrong. Arrow and the Flash totally entertained me at one point in my life. They were very fun. It's just, you know, we expect more nowadays. You know,
I did really like it though. I think it was the first episode of that, of when Superman appeared and they said and the kid said like nice uniform or something like that. He said my mom made it.
Thanks, my mom.
I was like,
I melted. That's
okay,
that was when he had me. But minor spoilers. Season 4, death of Superman's storyline, but they treat it a lot more, I think, a lot more meaningfully than maybe other past iterations of it. You know what I mean? So and so what's really fun is, like, you know, he's like, spoilers, dies in the first episode of the season, and because like he had a giant fight with Doomsday that was from previous season, and so he dies. Everybody in Smallville sees him die. It's quite traumatic, you know. Lois goes up to his dead body, and everybody in Smallville's like, what's Lois doing? And they're like, oh, they had a very special relationship, you know, like awkward. But anyways, like, the show progresses to go for several episodes with Superman being dead. You know, we all know he's going to come back, but they let it last for like 3 or 4 episodes, and you get to see a world without him in a more meaningful way than I think we've gotten presented before.
You don't like the minute music video we got in BVS?
No, I don't like the minute music video. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, like, it's a cool experience to like get to feel the emotions of that and feel, because the interesting thing about that show is it takes place in a world where Superman was the hero. There is no one else except for Steel, who, you know, is a side character in the show. Yeah. But like, there's no Batmans and no Wonder Womans and stuff like that, you know? So like, there's nobody for the world to fall back on except poor Steel. And that's too much pressure for Steel, because that guy is like,
you're telling me Steel's not an A-lister?
He's bootleg Iron Man. Okay. He's,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
He's got a hammer. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
so does Thor.
Yeah, but Thor's hammer is way better. Thor's hammer is way better than Steel's.
Yeah, it's friggin' magical.
But it's a really magical thing to see. Sorry, I didn't mean to steal that word from you. To see how this world has to deal with their only, you know, Superman dying, and it's you can't do that in the versions that we've got before, because they exist in a universe full of toys. You know what I mean? Like, even the comic books, it's like, well, I guess 5 other superheroes got to take over, you know, like, or, you know, in the animated movies and stuff like that. Justice League. Yeah.
Are there ever stories where like people treat Superman like as a god? Like,
yes,
he becomes like a deity.
Practically everyone.
Like,
I mean,
Kingdom Superman had to be like, they meant like Jesus dying, and we all saw it. Like,
I mean, yes, I think they all do to an extent. They like, that's kind of like Travis always likes to say, that's the difference between Marvel and DC.
Yes.
Right? Is that the DC characters are gods. And so like they're revered, as such. You know what I mean? Like, there's funny parallels if you look at it.
They map straight to gods.
Like the Flash. The Flash, do you understand? Like, in Central City, the Flash has a museum. The X-Men do not have museums.
No.
They have concentration camps. Okay, for the X-Men, it's night and day. The way
Captain America got a museum.
You have to see.
Yeah, but he had to die.
Like in Marvel, in Marvel, Peter Parker, right, puts on a outfit and becomes Spider-Man. Okay, in DC, okay, Kal-El puts on a uniform and becomes Clark Kent. Okay, like, Superman is the real thing, and you know, he's fronting like he is. You know, Batman is the real thing.
We all know Batman is like really Batman. Yeah.
Like,
they're not so subtle with that nowadays in media.
No, they're really not. They're really not.
That's the real mask.
Dance in the
Like,
rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest difference.
It's true. And so like I think it's just cool because normally in the context of every time we've consumed a Superman dying story, there's all these other superheroes, you know, that like
Yeah.
that are
got
there.
mentioned. Yeah.
And so it just hits different when it's like, damn, Lois is clever because she's trying to figure out, like, say, all right, I guess I got to figure out how to handle like Lex Luthor and Doomsday, you know, and she's on it, man. She's just using, like, that's what I love this so much about the show is it's not just my favorite Superman, it's my favorite Lois. I think the two of them together are strong combination, and they really remind me that like community and hopefulness are like the two defining characteristics of Superman, you know, like of like that's what he's about, is trying to be part of our community. He wants to be so badly a human being.
Absolutely.
And that's why like I love this show because it took it in a new direction where it's like, what would it be like if he took this experiment as far as, okay, I'm gonna have children with this woman and see, and I'm gonna figure out how to give them the normal life that I had growing up, well, that my parents tried to give me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's where the complexity of that show happens, is it's like he really, really wants those kids to live a normal life, but it's CW, so teen drama has to happen.
Of course.
You know, yeah.
Yes.
The kids are my least favorite part of that show.
Well,
But
understand that the CW is a network that is primarily for women.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I was telling Ricky before the show, I think the craziest thing is like I accidentally discovered that Superman and Lois is one of those shows that my wife is actually cool not leaving the room when I put on, you know what I mean? Like she's like, wait, I kind of like this show. And I'm like, what? All right, let's do this, you know? So,
is Lois always the love interest in Superman stories?
No, Lana Lang was his first girlfriend.
Yeah.
But
He's only got the two, right? He's got the two girlfriends. That's it.
That's
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lana
doesn't
Lang,
like date a black chick at any point, you know. It's just it's not.
Lana Lang was the girlfriend in high school in Smallville, and then Lois Lane is the grown-up girlfriend.
Because he likes alliteration.
He loves alliteration. Like, I mean, Clark Kent, you know, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Oh. All right. I will expect my check from CW to be arriving any moment now.
That network's on dying legs. So
no, seriously, man. I just love that show. I don't care about what else is going on in the network. I highly recommend people watch that show. So give it a chance, Travis. Before James Gunn.
I'll most definitely watch the episode.
Yeah. But I cried a little bit, episode 7. It was pretty I was pretty shocked. I'm like, you made me cry, CW show. That rarely happens. All right. What else is going to make me cry, Ricky? Is it the news?
Yeah, the news is going to make you cry this week. Where do we begin? Let's start with this one. Denzel Washington's doing press for Gladiator 2 coming out next month. And in an interview this week, he kind of talked about what's next for him, and he kind of made mention that he's only going to do 4 or 5 movies and retire. But one of those movies he basically explicitly mentioned was
explicitly he did. Yeah.
He's like, Ryan Coogler is writing a role for me in the next Black Panther movie. That's pretty cool. We're getting Denzel in the MCU.
Yeah, we were talking about this before you got on, Travis. Like, I need your take on like how huge this is.
Well, to set the stage real quick, the Denzel was tied to a Black Panther movie like in the 90s, wasn't he?
Oh, I don't know.
No, I think Wesley Snipes was. But I'm pretty sure Wesley Snipes was trying to get a Black Panther movie. Yeah. I don't know anything about this, but Yeah, tell us what you think about this, Travis. Like I shared my thoughts with
I mean,
Ricky.
this is epic upon epic. You know, like as far as like actors who you know you want in your film, who just instantly lends credibility and gravitas to any production. I mean, look, you start thinking of people like Anthony Hopkins, for example. You
I
start
know, right?
thinking of like but when you think black actors, you think Angela Bassett, got him. You know,
Yeah.
uh, Forrest Whitaker, got him. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You would think Sidney Poitier if he was still alive.
Yeah.
But Denzel is definitely on your Rushmore. Uh,
Yeah.
and so uh, the only thing that makes me happier than this is knowing that whatever he's cast in is going to, like Coogler is going to give him a chance to ball the F
Oh
out.
yeah,
You
shoot
see
Yeah.
what
some
I'm saying?
scenery.
Like you just chew it up, Denzel.
Mm.
Right. And when you think about it, right, this Black Panther movie has to reintroduce our new T'Challa. It's gonna be epic. It's gonna be epic. So
It is,
uh,
isn't it? It is going to do that. I didn't really
yeah,
think about it.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
going to have to have
because
both.
you can't not have a Black Panther in the MCU. You
Well, I
just
mean, you can't not have a T'Challa one. We do have
yeah,
Shuri.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Did we ever ask
And
you what's your take on the recast not recast debate?
I think he just answered it.
uh look, Black Panther symbolically
Mhm.
is worth more than anyone actor. There have been so many different Superman, so many different Batmans. Uh but it's a symbol. And I think that as much as I I love Chadwick, I think it should have been recast personally.
Can you imagine if, like, when Adam West died, people were like, can't do Batman anymore?
Exactly.
Like, can you imagine that if we
It
stopped
sounds,
at
it sounds
if we stopped
ridiculous
at
on its face, doesn't it?
can you
You
say
know,
if we stopped at Adam West? Now, don't get me wrong, Adam West was fucking Batman,
he was the
right?
West.
He was Batman. But then we got Michael Keaton. We're like, whoa, Batman can be a totally different thing. You know what I mean? Like, so, like, yeah,
Mhm.
it just blows my mind to think that people think
I feel
that
like it's a fairly new
should be.
phenomenon. Like I feel like we're gonna go through this shit again once I guess once RDJ dies, right? Like,
But
who's gonna
I
be the
feel like,
next Iron Man?
but it's not fair too, because like William Hurt died and we got Harrison Ford and nobody's bitching. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I just no. It just hits a bit different because look, Black Panther was a crazy
Yes.
moment.
I,
It
I,
really,
I'm not comparing to, I shouldn't have done that.
no, no,
I'm
no.
not
What I'm saying,
comparing
no.
the
All I'm saying is what I'm saying is that all of that, all of that combined,
Mhm.
into making Black Panther like more than just a movie in that way,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
and, and so
It's an experience. It was a
from,
cultural
from
experience.
its inception is what I'm saying. And, and
Yeah.
and so that's why I can see why people think that they're inexorably tied. But I think
Yes.
symbolically, Black Panther means more and should
Yeah,
have
like
been.
I don't care that William Hurt played Thunderbolt Ross.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
wasn't a get in the same
Right,
way. Now, in
right.
fairness, to counter something you said earlier, Anthony Hopkins was a get until he started taking money for like Transformers movies that were terrible.
Hey,
And
that
then I'm
dude's
like, and then credibility kind of went down a little bit. Was he bad in those movies? No, he
No,
wasn't. But like, you just kind of like roll your eyes a little bit when somebody of a certain stature starts
is
putting
holding
it.
themselves out. Is
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you're
exactly. Like
saying?
we all forgive Sam Jackson, but we're not putting Sam Jackson in a different category because Sam Jackson has always been Sam Jackson. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like, he is not ashamed of snakes on a plane, and I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? Like,
That's true.
but so I think that's the reason I'm saying these is because like Denzel is not a hoe. And so that's what makes it way cooler. You know what I mean? Like, say, I was telling Ricky before the show, like, it reminds me of like how crazy it was when I started watching Agatha and Patti LuPone was there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Patti LuPone doesn't do TV and
Yeah.
like that's not really her thing. You know, she's
Yep.
a queen of Broadway. So like, what did they need? What did they do? What kind of script did they put in front of her?
Well,
to get
they
her
put
to do
a
this?
couple $1 million.
Well, that too. That's what I'm saying though. But like that's the crazy part is like
You get that talent, though.
every time Marvel casts talent at this level, I'm like, man, we're just on another. You guys are operating on a totally different place than all other movie makers right now.
Yeah.
It's like you're almost free of real genuine criticism because like what you've pulled off is crazy. Like Denzel Washington is going to be in the next Black Panther movie. Those are words I didn't think I'd be saying. Like
It's a genre, like honestly, and you know, I think it's especially true for Marvel, but I think it transcends it now. Right, where at one point in time, making serious movies or movies that didn't seem like they were just sort of like thrown together by 10-year-olds. Those were usually the action movies of the past or the superhero movies of the past, and that is no longer the case. That is just functionally incorrect now, and so it's a whole genre. It is like it is a Western. It is it is this, that, and the other. No, this is a meta movie or it's a superhero movie.
But it's also genres within genres. That's how big it is.
Yeah, absolutely,
It encapsulates all genres.
Yes, absolutely. And because of that, I don't think now any actor worth their salt feels empowered really to poo-poo those films.
Some of them do, but
until they're in them.
Exactly.
But to Travis' point, definitely it's definitely cultural. And I remember listening to an interview with Sterling K. Brown on like his agents, like, do you want the small part of Black Panther? And he's like, yes, by all means. Like, what are you talking about? I don't care what I'm doing. Put me in that movie. Yeah. Like, I think you have to get Denzel. That's like
that's true. It is fair. We have had two outstanding Black Panther movies, and so there is and it is well understood in this country at least what a cultural phenomenon that franchise is.
Yes.
And I think it really helps that second movie did not suck, because sequels are hit and miss. So
yeah,
it's fair to be part of potentially a trilogy that would be the first real important Black superhero movie trilogy. Like and they're good. That's crazy, right? Like
because Blade, but
yeah. Well, that third one did not stick the landing.
Exactly. That's why I said
yeah. The second one,
Blade is like the only Black guy in that movie.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad that he is, right?
Yeah.
The second movie is excellent, but also less Black people in that one too, for sure.
That third one.
Yeah. The third one's stinky. Yeah. Cool. Well, that was we chewed the hell out of that piece of news. Thank you so much, Ricky.
Other bits of news. D23. D23 Brazil was this past weekend. So with that, we got some new trailers for some new things. Specifically the What If Season 3 trailer. Kind of the big highlight of this trailer was there's a storm using a Mjolnir. So I guess we're getting X-Men in What If now, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then, of course, we got the Captain America and Thunderbolts trailers as well.
I mean, just to be clear, Marvel TV does officially consider X-Men 20 or X-Men 97 to be part of the MCU because it's just part of the multiverse saga now. So like, so if you officially say X-Men 97 is MCU, then there's no reason that we can't have a what if episode with Storm before we ever got Storm in a movie. Like,
I enjoy what ifs, but I find myself like struggling to give a shit.
here's my thing. I would have defended What If to hell if it was not for X-Men 97. Now I'm just like, nah, never mind. Like,
that second season was not great.
It wasn't great. And honestly, X-Men 97 raised the freaking bar so high on what I can expect from my animated shows. Remember, we had to convince Travis to go watch this show.
That's
like,
true.
He didn't want to watch a cartoon.
I was like, nah.
and it's still the best thing I've seen all year. I'm sorry. Like, I love Agatha. I love the Penguin. Spoilers, they don't beat X-Men 97 for me, man. They just don't. They come close.
I think I agree with that.
They come close.
But it's close.
Maybe not that close, but I mean, come on. We could just spend the rest of this show talking about that show all over again. Like, that's
X-Men 97 recap. Here we go.
Yeah. I can't feel you, Remy. Come on, man. Anyways, so yeah, What If? I'm not gonna defend it, but I like it. It's fun.
I do. I like it, but I'm like, who cares?
They'll probably drop them all at once, right, Ricky?
No, it's once a day in December.
I think that's what they did last time. They did that
end
last
of December, yeah.
Last time.
Yeah.
They did it last year. Yeah.
Captain America, Thunderbolts, those trailers do anything for you?
Yes.
I agree. They did.
Yes.
Those were better.
Both of them.
I always feel like the first trailer is never for me, and the second one's a little bit for me. I'm waiting for I mean, honestly, I don't need the trailers. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna see it anyways.
We're already sold. But...
Yeah, we're sold. We're not the target. So that's why I don't get mad anymore when the trailers don't hit me with the sauce I need. But I definitely enjoyed a further look into both of those. Like, you just get to see a little bit more how the toys are going to play with each other, right? Like, and it's fun. It's
like, you're like, Bob. Yeah, okay.
I like seeing Captain America do stuff that you would expect Captain America to do. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like, I mean
the president.
No, I mean, like, on the strength scale, that vibranium suit is giving him some extra. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Wakanda hooked him up.
Yeah, Wakanda hooked him up with a very nice suit, and I don't appreciate the helmet. I think that we're trying to write that helmet to be something that is important to the story, but I can't help but see it as this is how we market this movie in China. Like, that's how I see that helmet. All right. Like, every time I look at it, I'm like, right.
I mean,
Mickey?
at least he's flying at supersonic speeds. He would probably need a helmet.
I understand, but he had the goggles in the first movie. Maybe
that wasn't enough.
He wasn't on the poster. He wasn't on the poster in the first movie.
I know. You know what I mean, right? You know, it's a little dirty. It's politics. It's politics, right? Black Panther, same way they marketed him in China too. The full mask.
Yeah.
It's a little gross because, like,
this country is not ready for black leaders. So.
I know.
Okay.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm sorry to everyone who's not in this country who's watching this. That's what I mean. Like, yeah. Sorry on behalf of this nation.
Yeah.
That Black Panther and Captain America have to wear full face coverings to be marketed in other regions of this planet. And that we are willing to do it. That's the part where I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hey man, that extra billion from China, it's a nice chunk of change.
It gets Denzel on the board. That's what happens. It gets Denzel
playing 4D chess here with our cast.
It is. It's 4D chess. It is. But Bob is excellent. I almost don't want to see the trailer.
You think they're gonna do the switcheroo? they're gonna
What?
try to pull that part of his story off. He
The
was
voice-
there all
Are
along.
you talking about? Are you talking about Thunderbolts in general or Bob?
Or Bob.
Oh,
Bob.
absolutely.
Bob is the villain
is the
of that
baddie.
movie. He's
Well,
the
yeah, I
hero.
know, but like his whole thing that he was there the whole time,
Yeah.
right? That's a
Yeah. Well, see, this is the Marvel Red Wedding. Like as far as I'm concerned, right? Like everyone who read comics goes, Bob, huh? Uh-huh. Thunderbolts, huh? Uh-huh.
It's not gonna go good for them. It's not
like
good.
we already know that
Florence Pugh's getting
there is
expensive.
at least one rug pull. At least one.
I hope it's one beyond Taskmaster because she's so obviously gonna die. Like obviously they want to do over on Taskmaster for sure. That did not go the way Marvel expected that character to go. But it would be nice to see another one go because everyone besides Taskmaster is kind of cool.
Yeah, I think the Red Guardian can go. He can go.
I think he could. Honestly, I think he could, and it would be very impactful because this movie is another father-daughter adventure.
Yep.
And so, like, I think if Florence Pugh goes, I'm done. I'm not like, you keep her forever.
Right? She's gonna stay around. Trust me.
Keep her forever. If she dies,
it's a wrap.
Call me in Secret Wars when she comes back. That's it. Like,
you ain't picking up until then.
Nah, I'm just I can't handle it. I don't know.
I hate you.
Probably don't make me eat those words, Marvel. Please don't. Make me.
Yeah. So both of those trailers I thought were amazing. I really did. Thunderbolts. It's gonna be interesting to see how those personalities interact with one another. I mean, that's I see Suicide Squad. Okay, and finally, that Captain America. I just want to see Anthony Mackie get his due.
Yeah, I loved Falcon and Winter Soldier. I really did. And I think it's cool that the two of them get to kind of graduate into their own movies from that. Yeah. I mean, I know that technically Florence Pugh is like the main, I feel like she's the main protagonist of this movie, but I also feel like Sebastian Stan's character is the other main one. So like he gets to exist now in movies without a Captain America, and that's pretty cool. That's
exactly
cool,
Yeah.
So they're both
and it's fitting because to me I think Captain America Winter Soldier, like that was the point I felt like the MCU sort of leveled up, and like their movies became like top tier,
not origin stories anymore,
not origin stories anymore, and it's just the level of filmmaking. And I think we discussed this, on a previous show once before, where I said like Marvel movies just sort of look like those toys that bang together, and I said how DC movies look more like film, and it wasn't until I think Winter Soldier, where Marvel movies started looking like film. It's to me like the whole look of the MCU changed after Winter Soldier.
Although Iron Man,
that movie had Robert Redford in it.
I know, right? That's exactly, and it was so perfect for him in an espionage movie, right? Like
absolutely,
it's a freaking spy movie, with Robert Redford. That was probably one of. I mean, to Travis's point, like, no, you know what the first get was freaking. Like Ed Norton as the Hulk. I'm like, what?
He was so good he dipped out.
Right. But like seriously though, like that was like Robert Downey, we were all like, okay, that's pretty good casting. This guy's had a problematic career. You probably got him on the cheap. I kind of feel like he's gonna do this good. But when they said Ed Norton as the Hulk, we're like, what? That's the one I'm excited about, and it turns out the other one was way better. But But still, that was a crazy get, though, right?
Yeah.
You know, like, because the caliber of movies that Ed Norton was putting out, at least at that time, I mean, he still does.
Top tier.
Yeah, he's not. I mean, he also did Sausage Party, but
Yeah.
you know, still, like,
For
you know,
perspective.
but he did that for fun. He clearly
Yeah.
enjoys that character, so that's fine. All right, are we going to talk about the other thing that we really enjoyed?
We're going to talk about the other thing. Penguino finale aired Sunday on HBO. Don't have the title in front of me.
Oh, what was the title? A Great or Little Thing?
Great or Little Thing.
Yes. Travis.
Yes.
We haven't talked to you about the Penguin all season long.
Correct.
I don't know if you're aware of our opinions of the Penguin all season long.
I am not.
I like this show so much after the first episode that it made me go and rewatch a Batman movie that I was not particularly as fond of as other fans. And it suddenly made that movie way better.
Interesting.
And I know why. And it's because I felt like the problem I had with that movie was the amount of marketing that went into trying to sell Colin Farrell as the Penguin to me. Then I go and watch a nearly 3-hour movie, and Colin Farrell is in maybe 5 or 6 scenes of the whole damn movie.
A little taste.
And I was just really kind of bitter because I'm like, but this is the thing that looked really interesting to me, and you barely gave me any of it. And so, like, it made it hard for me to, like, enjoy elements of it. But this time, after just watching the first episode of Penguin, I went back and rewatched that, and I suddenly didn't mind because I knew we were going to get 8 episodes of this character. And so now I could really just enjoy the Catwoman and enjoy the Batman and the Alfred and the Gordon and all these things going on. I don't quite love the Riddler, but he's all right. He's cool. But it made it so much easier for me to enjoy that movie. And then I had hope. It gave me hope just from that first episode. I was like, I think this is going to be pretty good for all 8 episodes, you know? So that's where I've been. It's just like, I've been so satisfied to see Colin Farrell do this. So I'm kind of curious. Oh, I'm more than kind of curious. How do you feel? Because I know you loved the Batman.
I did. I'm one of these people who, you know, I just enjoy the world state of some of these movies. So, like, if you have a character like the Penguin or, you know, the Riddler, and you only give them a minute to shine or whatever, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because maybe that's not the point of your narrative,
Right.
you know, and you can explain that some other time. But, you know, the fact that you took the time to cast someone who you feel can deliver, you know, that level of you know, of acting, then by all means, you know, cast, you know, whomever you want to play like 2 or 3 minutes or something, you know, because you know you're going to get more later. And that's what I felt like when I saw, you know, the Batman. Is I felt like, yeah, that's Oswald, and you know, the fact that they just gave me a little bit was enough, because I know that you wouldn't waste that talent unless you planned on doing something, whether or not it's in a subsequent movie.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know anything about like a series, but, you know, I was just thinking he's going to be in a sequel. You know, that's what I'm thinking. Because, you know, DC's trying to build, you know, this brand new sort of other worlds. And I remember watching, you know, some shows on YouTube where they were like, all right, what episode is the Batman going to be in it? What episode is the Batman going to, you know, appear in Penguin? And here's the best compliment I can give this show. Not only was I not worried about what episode the Batman would show up, I was actively wishing that he did not. Right? Because who needs him right now?
Gotham City.
Gotham
Yeah.
City, definitely the victims of the
Exactly.
horrible tragedies that happened throughout the entire show. Definitely, a lot of people needed him, but you know what? I'm gonna
But
choose.
even some of the
I-
like there were characters in the Penguin who needed him, and he wasn't there for them.
Now, let me put this. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I want to interpret what you're saying in a different way as opposed to literally. But you're saying this show was so damn entertaining that I did not need Batman to show up.
That is correct.
Okay, because literally there was numerous times where I'm like, "Look, guys, I love the show, I really do, but I think you're pushing it. I think you're pushing it, guys. Like, otherwise,
Well,
you're just making Batman look bad, right?"
well, hang on. Okay, I'm gonna push back on this because
But just a
it
little bit,
took him.
right? Just a little bit.
What I'm saying is that it took a while for Batman to become ubiquitous, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Batman needs to turn on his phone.
he didn't, you
Think
know,
about
like,
the
and if you
beginning
think
of
about
that
this
movie,
from
though.
if you think about this from a from a a Batman timeline, for example, right?
Mhm.
Like the Batman's supposed to be year one, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so he wasn't
Yeah.
like, oh shit, like, let's not do anything because Batman's going to show up. Like that didn't happen in the first year.
Actually, but it
It
did
did,
happen in the
though.
beginning of the movie. Remember, the gangs were always looking around and wondering if Batman was in the shadows. Like, that's even in Robert Pattinson's like monologue.
Well, I'm okay.
So
Yeah,
I think that's the point Ricky and I are making is if they didn't include that scene where the villains actually were looking around their shoulders for Batman, then
that's
I
true.
would have been forgiving of the fact. But even Penguin has gotten his ass kicked already by Batman.
Yeah.
It's not, yeah, I think it's to clarify, Dennis. Though it's not the lack of a Batman; it's lack of his presence being felt. Like,
Yeah,
again,
like
there's
that,
no
like
no
that's what I mean.
fear.
That's what I mean. Like him being ubiquitous in Gotham City. Like,
Mhm.
don't steal some gum because the Batman will get you.
Right.
Like
yeah, well,
that's it's at the start of that. It's just
it's
you
not
know what I'm
quite
saying?
gum yet, but people were already
Yeah.
there was already rumor of a Batman in the
Yes.
city, and that's I think that's the problem where we can split hairs deciding how ubiquitous, like
He's
degrees
fighting
of
some
it.
crime. He's not fighting all crime yet.
Yeah, but like you would think that blowing up an entire
I mean,
city block would register on
it
his
was
radar.
during the daytime. That's not Batman's MO.
I mean, in
Oh,
that
that's a
movie, he
good
actually
point,
does
right?
do a
Right,
lot
that's
during
a
the
good
day.
point. Yeah, he
In
can come
no,
out
in
during
the
the day.
in the Batman, he's Batmaning during the day, just not with the suit on.
Yeah, of course, we know that.
And it's okay. It's okay. Like I'm not trying to ruin the fun of this. We're just saying like that for me, it was I wanted to feel the intent of what you're saying, but the nerd in me was also like, look, I went into the show knowing Matt Reeves promised no Batman, and I'm fine with that. I don't want Batman in the show.
Batman told us from the start, and we still didn't believe him.
Yeah, but well, you didn't believe him. You were like, I can't wait for Batman to show up. I'm like, you're crazy. He's not showing up in this show.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I started feeling like, I don't want him to, but he kind of needs to. Like this is bad, guys. This is a lot of death happening. And if you're not showing up or even like leaving a message, I feel like you're bad at your job right now. Like, what are you doing? Are you with Catwoman? Is that what's happening? Like, are you in Bloodhaven right now? Please tell me you are.
Or something. Yeah.
But I will say, without we haven't gotten to the spoilers of this episode, of the newest episode, but like without we can spoil it. I guess spoiler warning. We are going to spoil it. I do appreciate that the show ends with the bat signal, which I expected it to do. I really did. There was a lot of beats that I kind of knew already what was when I saw this episode. I mean, hey Ricky, sorry if I ruined it for you. I told you at the beginning of the show Vic was going to die.
I mean, the writing on the wall. Writing was on the wall that Vic was going to die. I didn't want it to, but hindsight, I think it's a very beautiful, cool thing that he does die, because not many shows about a villain these days will cement how they'll try to leave a redeeming quality
Mhm.
to their villain,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And they're like, "Fuck that! This is a bad dude. We're gonna
This
tell you
guy,
he's a bad dude. We're gonna show you he's a bad dude,
he
and you're still
screwed
gonna watch him."
every
And also don't forget he's a piece of shit, right?
every
Like
character you liked in the show outside of the Penguin. He screwed all of them. He screwed them
Yeah.
all in the worst ways possible too. Like you, I know. Like last week, Ricky, you were theorizing that the mom was going to die, and I wish I would have reminded you that the mom actually begged him earlier in the season, if I ever get that far down in my dementia,
Mhm.
please kill me. And I should have remembered that when you brought this up. Like that right there is the signal that she's never going to die,
Mhm.
because that's the worst thing the Penguin can do to her, is lock her in her own mental prison.
Mhm.
Like that sucked, watching her cry, his mom cry, as she's laying in a hospital bed in a dirty ass room, just staring out the window of a high rise, not able to move or vocalize or do anything. That is her hell, and he is her devil. Like he's her devil. Like, and to
I
learn he's been her devil his entire life.
Mhm.
Like she's always hated him because she's always known. That was nuts. Like that was crazy.
for in terms of storytelling, you had to give the Penguin needs something that affects him, or he needs to lose something, right? And I think I like the idea of how he loses the ability to get praise from his mom,
Mm-hmm.
and how they tie that intrinsically to her state at the end, and what that type of validation that he was seeking since he was a childhood, that he now like he when he realizes what's happened to her in the hospital, and he's you could see he's visually like upset and torn up that like that praise doesn't come to him. And then they circle back at the end too with what is it, the escort that he has, right?
Eve.
Eve, that like he has like this mommy kink or whatever with her, like
It gives Homelander and Doppelganger vibes for sure.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something severely Oedipus going on there.
That's
You know?
literally what I said when the episode ended. I was like, well, this is Oedipal as fuck. Like
Yeah.
this is yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's but to what you're saying, like it's he's a bad man. He's just a bad
Yeah.
man. Like
It's
he's
very uncut gems, like where you watch this show not for the characters, but just to see how dirty they can get.
And
and
you
kind of
know,
how it ends for everybody, right? Because like whether or not characters died, they all got an ending that was raw,
Mhm.
right? Like Vix is the saddest, I think, of all of them, because like he doesn't get a chance to change it. Like Sophia, I mean, you damn well know Sophia's getting out of that prison and going on a joyride with Catwoman. That is happening. Those two are hanging out, and I did not expect that. That was probably the only thing that surprised me about the entire episode, to be truthful, was her receiving a letter from Selena Kyle at the end. Like, I was quite excited because I was like, we've been talking about that all season long. We're like, man, the who are the women, or I mean, who are the people fathering these, or I mean, mothering these children? Because like Carmine is making some amazing daughters. I'm just saying, amazing.
yeah.
And so we were just always talking about how it's cool. It's really weird that, like, if you think about it at the Batman level, this woman is she's half sisters to Catwoman. That's
Yep.
crazy. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so I didn't expect them to validate that in this show
No.
and go further and saying, oh, they're gonna hang out.
Mm.
Don't be surprised. You know, so
I think
like,
that's what makes it. I think that's what makes this whole thing like, just beyond awesome. Is that they're tying it back to the cinematic universe
they're
that
saying
they've created, and this is, like Matt Reeves is doing what Nolan tried to do.
Yeah,
You know,
I would say,
uh,
yeah.
and he is succeeding at a higher level. I think.
Well,
I do.
slow down, sir. Slow down. Here's the
No.
difference, though. Here's the difference. I feel like the problem with Batman in movies is we never get all of one Batman in a movie. We always get slices. We get vertical slices of a Batman, right? Batman, we all know, is the world's greatest detective. Batman is also
rich as fuck and a kung fu master.
He's a ninja. He's trained with magicians, so he's an escape artist.
Yes.
He is also a master ventriloquist.
Yes.
He is also capable of designing vehicles that can travel in space for the Justice League.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like he is everything, and we never get that Batman in live action because we just can't. So instead, we might get the ninja Batman. We might get the detective Batman. We might get the super brainiac Batman. You know, we get each of them in different ways, but we don't ever get all. So I'm not going to concede that Matt Reeves is doing something better than Chris Nolan, because you know what? I kind of like Ninja Batman. I kind of like a Batman that's like an actual trained ninja who trained with ninjas. Like, we don't, like, as far as we know, like, this Batman just, like, went to boxing summer camp or something like that. I don't know what this Batman
did. You know he ain't.
But you know what I
mean?
Like,
look at that car he built. Get out of here.
But what I'm saying is that was my favorite thing about Chris Nolan's Batman, and no one can take it away from me, is it was the first live action Batman that dared to actually show me the training that he went through to become Batman. You know what I mean? Even a snippet of the training. And I geek out on that, because like
I geek out on that too.
When you learn
somebody's doing it better than him now.
When you learn all the different things that Batman has done, it don't make sense unless you're a billionaire, of course. You know what I mean? And so I just want to see a flashback to any one of them. It doesn't have to be fighting ninjas on a mountain. Just give me anything. Give me anything. And until then, Matt Reeves doesn't fully have my attention. Okay. That's all. He doesn't. Penguin went a long way. It went a long way. I'm just saying that was my
like think about it. Like, the thing I really liked is like how organically he found his lair.
Yeah.
And what that meant symbolically.
It's right next door to Batman's.
Good God.
Also in the train station.
Like, what the hell, man?
Yeah. Oh, you're okay. We're talking about the Penguin. I wasn't sure if you meant Batman.
Yeah. I'm like,
yes. Yeah. No, it's gross. It's super gross.
And you know what? Reading and this needs to be said. In looking at the behind the scenes, or viewing all the behind the scenes stuff, I am both surprised and happy that a lot of the showrunners and the creative force behind this show are all women.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's really cool.
Doing the damn thing.
They did the damn thing.
Please continue.
Same with Agatha too. That's the craziest part. Like,
please continue.
We got like I said this earlier in the season. Like, oh my God, Ricky, the fact that we are getting every week an episode of Agatha and an episode of Penguin.
Spoil of riches.
I've never ever been this spoiled as far as Marvel and DC TV at the same time, right? You got to remember, like, we used to be getting like Arrow and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on TV.
Yeah. And I told you Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. sucked long before you admitted it.
That's fine.
I still feel pretty happy about that.
I'm sad that Arrow sucks now too, because that show was actually legit good for the beginning. But they don't.
He has failed the series.
Those shows don't hold a candle to Agatha and Penguin.
They really don't.
and
No, no, no.
Yeah, and I for fun, like every week I would say like which episode I had more fun watching, like was it Agatha or was it Penguin? It switched back and forth every now and then. But honestly, you really don't have to compare these shows.
No.
Because they're doing two totally different things.
Two totally different things.
But they're operating at a very high level, both of them.
I just feel I'll tell you though. If Penguin doesn't get multiple Emmy nominations,
For sure.
Something ain't right.
Kristen Milotti she better get an Emmy, not a nomination. She needs an Emmy for that.
Yeah, because let me tell you something. That Arkham episode.
Oh my God,
Leia.
That was
nuts. Hardcore. You know what I'm saying?
Back to like I think what Travis mentioned earlier, how the Penguin's only like for 5 minutes in the Batman movie. To get Colin Farrell to play the Penguin, and then to get him to play the Penguin in full prosthetic.
Mm-hmm.
They must have they had to have shown him the master plan of what they were going to do with him to get him to commit to that. Which I guess to me is also reassuring because like, okay, there's very much a overarching story that they already have mapped out, designed, and now they're just executing. It's not like
because you ain't going to get him to dress up like Barney for that long. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Like it's got to be worth it, and I'm just like, seriously, like we would finish the episodes of Penguin and just be like, what did I just watch? Like, like those first couple episodes of Sophia, I'm like, yo, son, I am legit afraid of her. Right. It's because I called it from the beginning. I said, I don't think she's crazy. She real smart though. She real smart. She ain't crazy. And if she is crazy, she is crazy smart.
I think that was the other complaint I had during the season of the show is for a show called The Penguin, I care way more about a character named Sophia. And they did a good job in the last 2 episodes of reining it back in and refocusing on like, hey, as a reminder, guys, the title of the show is The Penguin. And so they finally gave you that flashback that we got to learn about Oz, and his life and then be more invested in stuff. But I just think there were definitely entire episodes of the show in the middle of the season that I just no longer cared about this awesome prosthetic achievement that was going on or the awesome performance that Colin Farrell was giving, because like seriously though, that woman was killing it. She was chewing scenery every episode. So I think I became in that Arkham episode, I became so enamored with her story that like when the ending for her happened in this, I was like, yeah, that tracks. I kind of saw that coming. I also saw it coming because Matt Reeves spoiled it by saying that both she and the Penguin will be in the Batman 2. So I knew she wasn't going to die, I knew she wasn't. And so I was like, well, she's not going to die. Oz has to win because the show's called The Penguin. So, I mean, right? Like we're just being.
Well, I mean, but see, that's the thing. And I, from working at Hollywood for a long time, and talking to screenwriters all the time, and they say pretty much the same thing all the time. The boy gets the girl. The question is how, right? And so,
right.
So look, it's the Penguin.
It was a very predictable ending. But I agree with you. Normally, I would argue that predictable is kind of a negative, but in this case, it's like it's the Penguin. Like
it leaves us with the good Penguin. We got a Penguin.
Exactly.
You know where he's at now. You know where he stands. You know why he's doing. We kind of get to learn like why did they do like the top hat thing? Oh, because that's his weird Fred Astaire trauma with his mom, right? We get the little mayor tease or the political tease. They say we're left with a very nice spot for a Penguin to show up in a Batman movie now.
But on the same note, on the same subject of teases, Ricky, do Do you have the picture?
Oh, I didn't put the picture.
You don't have the
the
picture?
literal courtroom full of owls.
Did you see it, Travis?
No.
When Oz met with the councilman in the courtroom to spin the new plan, which was to make Sophia the scapegoat for everything that's happened.
Yeah.
That courtroom is filled with many curtains, and they're kind of, the design of the curtains is
reminiscent.
a silhouette of an owl, and the texture of the curtains.
Wow.
And the whole room, there's a picture of that room, and it just looks like 20 owls in that whole room.
Okay.
It's not subtle, but it is subtle enough because you're paying attention to the story that you're not necessarily seeing it. But Ricky might bring that picture up before we finish this discussion. But yeah, it was oh, there, he's got it. Here it is.
Oh wow.
You see the shape?
Yeah.
It's cool, right?
Yeah.
So it's fun because like now I know that like the Batman stuff wasn't a fluke, right? That's what I'm saying. Yes. They know what they're doing, and now I'm able to be like, okay, all right, I see. I'm listening. I'm listening to what you guys to say.
Yeah.
So that's what I love so much about the Penguin, is it salvaged, it filled in the blanks that I felt were missing in the Batman. And it gave me that ground level experience of the villains that I just feel like villains in these stories just don't get to have enough time to really be as three-dimensional as they are in the comic books, because
that's also a DC versus Marvel thing.
What do you mean?
Like most of your villains in DC are much more realized.
No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree that they're much more realized. I just think that in general, villains in comic books are more realized because we get so much time with them. We get them coming back over and over again,
nuance, right?
Because the villains don't get killed in the first story by the hero, unless it's a Punisher story, which is kind
contract obligations,
which is kind of cool. It's kind of badass that like people have favorite Punisher villains, but that's also their favorite story with that villain because they're dead after that. Like that's, like that's their, So, but you know what I mean? Like it's we accept the trope in comic book storyland that this villain's going to come back, and you know what? I didn't like Magpie, but this Penguin guy's interesting. I'm going to keep reading the books every time Penguin shows up, and I think, and that's what builds your knowledge base of a villain, because you're like, oh man, dude, let me tell you about this one time that Penguin did this crazy thing to Batman, like, and it's you build up a database of cool experiences with those villains. But in movies, you get a very, very short amount of like moments with them. And so I love the Penguin so much for letting me have nearly like 8 hours of experiences. Like, think about all the crazy shit Oz did this season, man. Like,
there was some high grade fuckery going.
Remember when he was doing a heist and he's like playing a double agent across two different gangs, and they're like robbing each other
by the seat of his pants.
Like, he was flying by the seat of his pants, and it was so cool. Remember when he went into the Breaking Bad like drug trade and like had all these cool red crystals, and like it's so many adventures he's gone on. Remember when he almost killed Vic at the beginning of the show, or remember when he killed Vic at the end of the show? Like he's just like, he got so many villain moments that now I feel comfortable with. Like, the next time Batman sees your ass, it's going to be deserved. It's going to be,
because you're real.
Batman beats the shit out of him. You're going to be, you're not going to feel for him. Like, you're going to like.
Yeah, he hadn't earned the beat down quite yet in the Batman. You know what I mean? He's annoying, but he's also the kind of guy that Batman's like, I need you for information, so I'm not gonna totally whoop your ass. But now it's going to be time.
Yeah,
And
but
so,
Bruce Wayne's gonna put his hands on him. Yeah.
yeah. So
the Penguin Mayor story is that's a classic penguin tale. That right?
I think it's comparable to like the Lex Luthor president stories. It's
Yeah.
it's obviously something relatable. So you know, it's fun. It's fun when it's fun in your fiction when a super really evil person becomes a powerful politician. It makes for excellent fiction, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, fiction.
Yeah,
literally the plot
Not
of
reality.
Daredevil, Born Again, and Captain America: Brave New
Yeah.
World.
yeah, exactly. Usually because there's superheroes to beat their asses at the end. And so it makes for fun stuff. So I'm happy at the idea of seeing Oswald being the mayor. That makes it even better because he like Batman with that kind of like.
Well, it gives him protection. It gives him a reason not to get his ass beat by a Batman.
Yeah, the difference between Batman and
optics.
the difference between Batman and all the other gods in the DC universe is Batman is the one superhero that the cops will shoot at.
Yep.
Like, and they regularly shoot at him, and it's because
he's always doing some shit he ain't supposed to be doing.
Exactly, like beating up the mayor of Gotham City. You know what I mean? Like that's
like Batman. Yeah, like Batman. Batman has a PhD, and I don't give a fuck. Like, you know what I'm saying? He is justice, and justice doesn't obey the law.
Batman won't kill you, but he'll leave you with a crippling
he'll leave you unconscious.
Yeah.
But absolutely.
I think somebody chimed in. I don't know how to deal with this comment, but art is supposed to parody reality, not the other way around, man.
Amen.
Yeah.
Tragic, but you're
agreed.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more.
The next thing in the story is the Batman 2. I will say I am bummed that they didn't. I know COVID and the strike probably had a huge effect on all this, but that's not until 2026.
I know.
Like, man, imagine if we all right. This show ends next summer, Batman 2. You know, then we get another.
Here's the thing. I don't want to complain about that. I don't want to ever do that because, like, I know just from video games, I know from like TVs, movies, like, I promise you it's better if you just let them have the time they need to cook. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. Like, we got a Dune show coming out like in a couple weeks. We got Creature Commandos coming. We forgot about that, Ricky.
Dune is Sunday.
Oh yeah, it's this Sunday, right? That's right. Yeah. Creature Commandos is in 3 weeks.
Get that HBO check.
Yeah. But I'm saying like Creature Commandos is going to entertain us for a while. Then next thing you know, we got freaking we got What If for a week. We got What If for a week. We got Peacemaker. We got Daredevil Born Again. We got so much stuff. You know what? Like, it's okay.
2025 is going to be just fine. Like,
let the Batman 2 have its time.
Let
in
it
2026.
Yeah, because there's a lot going on in 2025, man. Just
I'm okay with it. It's not like here, look, as a reminder, I love the Penguin first episode so much. I went back and watched a movie I haven't seen since it came out in 2021, was it? The Batman was 2021?
I'm not sure.
2022?
Was it? Either way,
it's probably 2022.
I hadn't seen that movie in 2 years, and it was better for it. Like, it was better for it. So I'll rewatch. I'll rewatch.
3 will be better for a 15-year, 5-year difference from Avatar 2.
That's our show, ladies and gentlemen. I'll just say it. The Penguin, I'll rewatch it again in 2 years. That's fine. I don't mind.
Yeah. Yeah, you will.
What are you looking forward to now that the Penguin's over, as far as the nerd stuff? I mean, obviously you're looking forward to Dune.
I'm looking forward to Dune. I'm looking forward to, how far we're going out.
How far you want it? How far you want to go out?
I'm looking forward to Dune. I'm looking forward to, obviously, Superman. Thunderbolts, Captain America. I'm looking forward to, practically. I mean, all superhero stuff that's been announced for Arcane is on another level, by the way. Yeah, like, as a matter of fact, I was late coming here because I was finishing episode 3 of Arcane. It literally just, and I was like, oh snap, I gotta get on. And so yeah, so thank you. Anyways, yeah. So, and of course, like I'm beside myself with anticipation and joy over the new Green Lantern TV show announcement of the casting. I mean, it's just perfect.
They had me at Kyle Chandler.
Yeah,
they had me because Friday Night Lights.
There's no way,
Lights, man.
There's no way Guy Gardner's not going to be on that show.
Oh yeah, for sure. Which is Nathan Fillion, right? Which also is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've never seen Rebel.
It's the True Detective teams, right?
I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah, it's the True Detective people that's doing the Lantern stuff.
Yeah. And it's an HBO film, which means that they're going to spend. Right? Like,
they're going to say,
it's not a Max film. It's an HBO film.
It's the people who made Chernobyl.
Tier of budgets. That's Game of Thrones budget. That's Penguin budget.
Yeah.
And so, yes, sir, it is going to be amazing. Right. And then, of course, you're going to get season 2 of Peacemaker, which I know it's just going to blow my mind. Like, next year's Avatar 3, which I know how it ends, but it's, you'll love Avatar 3 more than 2. If you was so about 2, it's better than 2 in my opinion.
Is Sam Worthington still in it?
Yep.
That's unfortunate.
Hey man, don't hate the hustle. That man cashed out for life with those movies.
He did.
Well, at least it's not Morrison.
Who are we talking about?
Boba Fett?
Oh, Tamura.
Yeah.
Ooh, no, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay.
That's
yeah. So there's always room.
By the way, I think we've probably told you before. Did you know that he's in Barbed Wire, which is our most viewed episode?
Yeah, we were like the number 1 Barbed Wire podcast. Somehow.
We did 1 episode on Barbed Wire, and people love it. And I'm happy for it. I'm happy you guys love it. If you have never seen our episode talking about Barbed Wire, go check it out. But Tamura Morrison sadly is in that movie.
Of course he is.
Yeah.
Of course he is. But yeah, so yeah, 2025 is at least in my mind is going to be a year for a lot of good comic stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to next year.
Sadly not next year. What? X-Men 97 season 2.
Nope. Don't look at us.
2026.
Are you serious?
2026. Yeah.
I thought it was done.
I think they had scripted it, or at least written. Doesn't that suck? Doesn't that suck?
Serious?
How a children's cartoon should not come out every 2 years, man.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I know it's not.
You just told me 10 minutes ago that you prefer when things are.
I know. I'm saying, like, let them take the time they need, but like that is disappointing. That a show that I grew up watching, 25 episodes a season. Now they can't get 8 out in 2 years. Like,
I mean, there's like some behind the scenes stuff.
In season 2 of Andor.
That's high up there, man.
Yeah.
Andor hits It's a lot different now.
See?
Man, that first season is something.
Episode 9 of Star Wars hits a lot different now too, and somehow Palpatine has returned.
Yeah, man.
Ugh.
So yeah. So 2025 is going to be a great year for film.
Yes,
and obviously TV.
See, Ricky, you don't got to worry. It's okay. We don't need the Batman.
You'll have plenty. You'll have plenty to distract you.
Yeah, and just like we have something to fill in the gap for next week, anyways. I don't think we have to do too many, but I think we have enough space for 2 before Creature Commandos airs on the 6th, right?
As we wrap this thing up, we're doing Thomas Jane's Punisher.
Yep, and then sadly we'll do Ray Stevenson's the week after that. But thank you so much for doing this with us, Travis. That was fun.
Of course.
I appreciate
for having me again.
Yeah, I appreciate that you were able to come and just fill the time talking about all the wonderful gods that exist in this universe.
Absolutely.
All right. We done here, Ricky?
I think we're done. And with that, true believers,